Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the largest gated community in North America, spanning 26,000 acres in the Ouachita Mountains in south central Arkansas. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and some occasional guests as we explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. Today's show is brought to you by Central Arkansas's favorite radio station, KVRE. Find them on the dial at 92.9 FM. Stream them live, kvre.com. HSV Inside Out is sponsored by Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Ike and his award-winning team have been serving the insurance needs of folks all around Hot Springs Village since 1998. Ike has qualified for State Farm's President's Club, Chairman's Circle, and Hot Springs Village Insurance Agent of the Year. Call Ike Eisenhower State Farm today at 501-984-4100. That's 501-984-4100. Find them online at ikeeisenhower.net. Call them today for all your insurance needs because, like a good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower State Farm is there. Also brought to you by Trademark HSV Real Estate. Located in the heart of Hot Springs Village, they are the fastest growing real estate office with over 30 agents and staff. Broker-owner Lori and Ken Henderson, along with the realtor and waterfront specialist Rick Marshall, are eager to share the special features of Hot Springs Village with you. For a complimentary relocation packet, call Ken and Lori at 501-276-3018. Call Rick Marshall at 501-601-RICK. They are Trademark HSV Real Estate. Today's episode was recorded in December 2024 in response to several emails from people planning their retirement and considering Hot Springs Village as their destination. They repeatedly ask, how did you guys prepare for life inside the village? And so today's show is my answer. An encore is a final group of songs or a song after the main performance is over. We've all gone to concerts and we've watched bands or musicians, and we sit through an hour and a half, 2-hour show, and the band walks off stage and the lights don't go up and we all start applauding and everybody starts cheering, and because we know they're going to come back out. They're going to keep playing just a little bit. It's going to be the final set. It's going to be the last few group of songs, or maybe even the last song, and that's the encore. You and I, as aging people, we have encores as well. And so I want to talk with you today about starting your encore chapter and doing that here inside Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Welcome to hsvinsideout.com. My name is Randy Cantrell. Welcome to the back porch. And we'll hope that the leaf blowers, there's ever so faintly in the background, there are some leaf blowers. It's that time of year, people. We're living in a forest, and if you're going to have a lot of leaves, then that means you get the opportunity to live where there's a whole bunch of trees. So somebody left a comment on our website or on one of the YouTube videos that the move to Hot Springs Village if you really want to hear a bunch of leaf blowers. Of course, they were taking a shot at the place, which that's fine. I get it. I got news for you. I lived in the suburbs of Dallas-Fort Worth for 35 years, and leaf blowers were everywhere. And we did have some trees, but not like we do around here. So if you're going to have leaves, you're going to have leaf blowers. And if you're going to have leaves, it means you've got trees. So I'll take it. Encore chapter. Let's talk about writing your encore chapter and doing that here inside the village. Now, I'm going to share with you kind of my details and my approach. I'm not telling you that you got to do it this way. It's your life. You can vote and do it the way you want to do it. But so many of you are not inside the village yet, and you're investigating. You're going through the motions of research. And as a person that's already done this, I get more feedback on this probably than anything that I have done. Those of you that are outside the village want more and more because you're in the throes of this. You are trying to figure this out. Maybe you live in a place that you have lived for a long, long time. Maybe you raised the kids there, and now you're thinking about moving to someplace else. Maybe you live in a place that you thought, well, that's going to be the place that we retire to. but for whatever reason, it's just not quite ideal. I subtitled my project Encore Chapter Version 2.0, and I subtitled it The Ideal Outcome. Now, I do executive and leadership coaching, and I'm constantly challenging my clients to tell me about your ideal outcome. Whatever this challenge is, whatever this opportunity is, what is your ideal outcome? I mean, we might as well aim for the best. Let's not aim for mediocrity. Let's certainly not aim for failure. Let's aim for the ideal. And so my language is the ideal outcome. For me, what is the ideal outcome? You may be somewhere where you're taking a look at your current situation and where you live and thinking, this isn't as ideal as we had hoped it would be. And Hot Springs Village that might be more ideal. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you no place is perfect. It doesn't mean that a place isn't ideal. For us, there's a whole lot more that is ideal about Hot Springs Village, Arkansas than not. Is everything perfect? Is our whole life and everything about our life here perfect? It's not. It's not. But it wasn't back in Bedford, Texas either. Life is largely what you make of it, and I think you would do yourself proud to make the most of it, no matter where you are, whether it's Hot Springs Village or anywhere else. So let me share with you this little exercise that I put myself through, and Rhonda too, along the way. And it really involved three phases to this, and I'm going to just do it in the order that I did it. I'm not putting any importance on these in this order, mind you, but I did it with first an approach to money. That clearly is an elephant in everybody's room. 2, mattering. And 3, mind, body, spirit. Now that last one happens to be the most important one, I think. So don't misconstrue the fact that it's the last, that is the least important. Money, mattering, mind, body, and spirit. So when it comes to money, the first thing I did is I developed a Google spreadsheet. Yeah, I'm that guy. Whether you want to choose a pen and paper, if you want to just use a Word document of some sort, I chose to create a spreadsheet, and I used Google Spreadsheets to do this. And I began by listing out what are our current expenditures, and I broke it down as minutely as I could that was practical for us. For instance, the first line item was charitable contributions. That is almost 100% church related. We believe that part of our worship is a contribution every Sunday, and so that had its own line item. From there came water, trash, and sewer. That was on a line item. Electricity's on a line item. Everything kind of had its line item. Internet had a line item. Gasoline had a line item. Car insurance, a line item. Home insurance had a line item. All of these things, including television and streaming services, any other subscriptions, up to and including, for me, I have a number of websites. Well, websites aren't free. You have to pay something every month in order to have your website up on the internet, like hsvinsideout.com. And so what does that web hosting cost? Many of you have Apple iCloud. Maybe you have Microsoft OneDrive. Maybe you have Dropbox. You have some other kind of cloud-based storage. That all got a line item. I left no expense off. I calculated everything. I looked at it and looked at the dollars going out at the current time, and this was, it was December or so of last year, but I really hit it hard starting in January of this year. And so I listed these line items, every single expense by month, which gave me a total, and then I took every line item and I carried it out to annualize it, so that I knew how much each line item was costing us annually. I didn't fictionalize anything. I didn't fudge anything. I took real world numbers and calculated that at that moment in time. Now, everything is subject to change. This is a great exercise, I think, because for many, many, many people, it's rather interesting to me, the people that really don't quite know where their money goes. True story. I'm a teenager, I'm in high school, and I carried a small little 5x7 accounting ledger, just a little 2-column ledger that you could go buy anywhere. And I kept one of those in the glove box of my car. And I habitually wrote everything that I spent and every dollar that I earned in this little ledger. Now, I'm not an accounting nerd, but I just wanted to track everything. And I mean, if I bought a pack of gum, if I bought a newspaper, it went into the ledger. Friends, they'd bust me and they'd make fun, but eventually, it didn't take very long, I had at least half a dozen friends who wanted me to teach them what I was doing. I have no idea why I did this or how I picked this up, other than the fact that I wanted to know, where's my money going? So, other friends, they'd go buy a little ledger and I'd show them and they would want to skip something. Well, I just spent $1. No, put the dollar down. Write it down. I would say 100% of my friends, when they did this, they would realize that the majority of their money went for food. It went to go to fast food. It went, going out to eat. And they would be making the same kind of money I was making as a kid working, but they never had any money. And I had some money. I'm like, well, you're spending 4 times what I spend every month going out to eat. I'm not doing that. So it's important. It's important for us to know where's the money going? Where's the money going right now? For those of you that aren't yet in the village, it's going to be important for you to try to quantify not just where's the money going right now, but if and when we make this move to the village, where will our money be going? How much will this cost? And so I broke down everything that we were spending at the time. Now keep in mind, we had not yet purchased a house here inside the village. That would come in March. So guess what I did in March? Yeah, exactly. I updated it. I now knew what our expenses were in Texas. Let's add Hot Springs Village to it, because now we're juggling a couple of places here. So let's figure this out. Well, that's not true. We were already juggling a couple of places because we had a lot here. So here inside the village, and this is one of the big questions we get, because most of you that are not in the village, you're accustomed to an HOA, a homeowners association. And those homeowners associations typically are not a whole lot of money. I think our homeowners association back in Texas, which was not mandatory, by the way, it was completely voluntary. And I'm thinking it was no more than a couple of $100 a year. You may be in a situation like that, or you may be in a situation where you don't have any. And so you're thinking, wait a minute, I'm going to be paying every month? Yeah, you are. Here, this is a POA, a Property Owners Association, because the majority of the property here is owned by a person who just owns the property. It doesn't have a house on it. So there are a lot of vacant lots here that are owned by people. Some are for sale, but many of them are not. And people are able to have member privileges inside the village. They can play golf at member rates. They can take advantage of the other amenities here at member rates, even though they don't have a home here. They're going to pay $49, currently, as I hit the record button on this video, they're going to pay $49 a month. That's the POA fees for an unimproved lot. The difference between an improved and an unimproved lot, an unimproved lot is just a lot. It's just dirt. An improved lot has water and utilities on it. Typically, it has a house on it. Currently, that's $110 a month. Now, there could be people that can think, well, $110 a month, that's nothing. And others of you might think $110 a month, that's a significant amount of expense for us. And you absolutely need to take that into consideration. So we purchased our house. We already had a lot. We were paying $49 a month. Now we buy a house and we have a lot. So now we're paying $110 a month plus the other expenses that go with a home versus not having a home. And we're paying the $49 still on the lot. We ended up selling that lot. They're currently building what looks to be a beautiful home on that lot, by the way. And so we were able to kind of ditch the $49 once we sold the lot. But all of that's got to be taken into account. So I line itemed everything, then carried that out to annualize each line item. Obviously gives me a total. I know what the monthly expenses are, real world. I know what those monthly expenses will turn out to be on an annual basis. Now comes what probably should go first, and that's income. Rhonda and I both hit full retirement age at 66 and a half. It's all based on the date of your birth. So for us, that was about a year ago. And so we both collect Social Security, and we both collect, the full retirement amount. And she works, I work. She has a little small business, I have a small business. And so we calculated, real world, what are we bringing in? Not some pie in the sky, here's what we hope to bring. No, what are we bringing in? So I did this in January. Again, I updated it in March, and I continue to kind of play with this and update it. So now I've got the income. I've got the monthly income, real world, annualized. I know what that number is. Here's a big, big key. The federal government has taught us this. Those expenses had better not eclipse what the income is. You better not spend more than you make. I know many people do, and if you choose to do that, you stop it. Stop it right now. So, armed with this information, I was able to, number one, do what any of us can do. We can take a look at these things and think, man, alive, we're spending how much on, we don't need to be spending that money. For instance, at one point we had a storage unit, and that storage unit was costing us something. I can't remember the number. But we were able to get rid of that. Mostly we got rid of it because we decluttered significantly, and we bought a house here inside Hot Springs Village. And so some of the stuff that we knew we were going to keep, because the plan was all along to have a presence in both places and have a place here inside the village. And so, I mean, if you already own stuff, it's worth putting it in storage for a period of time. This wasn't going to be some definitely long thing. So we don't have to we don't want to go buy furniture, for instance, if we got furniture that we like and we love. So we were able, when we bought the house, okay, we eliminated the storage. Yep, we picked up a $110 POA fee. All of this was calculated. And this is the real key. Just having the knowledge, being able to see it, really take a look at the expenses and not take a look at what you hope, but take a look at what is real world. And if you're doing that where you live, you know what your expenses are now, and there's plenty of ways that we can help you. We're not financial gurus by a long shot, but I've shared some things in previous videos, and we'll continue to do this to help you figure out a way to make this as real world for you as you can. I've shared with you utility bills and that sort of thing, and depending on the house that you're looking for and the situation, you can certainly get some real good real world estimates on those things, so that you're not just coming into this thing just shooting completely blind. So the money is important, the income, the expenses, and then of course saving and investing. And I'm approaching this today The numbers used to be different, and I don't know that there's anything terribly scientific about this, although there may be. Many people today are doing a 60-30-10 rule, meaning 60% of the money goes toward needs. The stuff that absolutely covers the necessities of our life, and then 30% of the money toward the things that we want, and then 10% of the money toward investments or saving. For us, we chose a 60-20-20 kind of a thing. 60% of our income to cover our living expenses, 20%, and no more than 20%, of just what we want, and then 20% to savings or investing. And we really try to maneuver those two 20% categories to lean way more toward investing and saving than for just wants. Now that's right now. This is all subject to change. This is the great thing, and I tell clients this all the time, when it comes to pursuing your ideal outcome, you can change your mind. Your situation can change. Your priorities can change. That's all cool. So you do you. Let's talk about number 2 in writing your Encore chapter here inside the village. And this is an important one that probably doesn't get enough attention, especially among older folks, and that's mattering. Mattering. Do I matter, and how do I matter? And to whom do I matter? It is very, very common among older people for us to feel put out to pasture, and for us to feel like, I once mattered, I don't matter that much anymore. You will meet here inside the village, you will meet some incredibly accomplished people, and you will meet some people that once you hear their story, you'll find out they're still incredibly accomplished, but they would tell you to your face, I'm nobody special. And meanwhile, they've got some incredible stories to tell. But we do have some folks around here that, they were big shot smarty pants back in a prior life. And it's very easy to go from having your identity completely focused and formed around what you did for decades. And once you retire, or once you step away from doing that, okay, well, now what? I mean, if once I was this person and I did this role for some company and now I don't do that role, who am I? How do I matter, and why do I matter? This is a ridiculously individual pursuit. I wish I had something spectacular to tell you, but I don't, other than to tell you to your face, you do matter. There are an awful lot of people that you matter to. I don't know who those people are, but you do. There are an awful lot of people that matter to you. And if they matter to you, it's highly probable, it's highly likely that you matter to them. And so these are the things that are really important. These are relationships, these are friendships, these are marriages. And you get to a place like Hot Springs Village, these are your neighbors. These are your neighbors. These are people that you'll see out and about. These are the people that they'll help you and you'll help them. And Hot Springs Village is that kind of a place. It's the kind of a place that as much as you want to matter, you can matter. This doesn't mean that you have some big thumbprint on society. I started this podcast with no designs on it really becoming what it has become, with no designs on even being known. And here we are. Just here we are. But yeah, along the way, I'm hearing from people that I haven't yet met. I'm hearing from people that are planning to come to the village sometime in the next 6 months, and they've never been here yet, but they're planning on coming. I'm not going to have time to accept all of the dinner or lunch reservations that people want me to make, because when they come, they want to take Rhonda and I out to eat. I mean, it's an incredibly gracious, hospitable, it's a terrific thing. And it gives me a strong sense of mattering. So I completely get this and understand it, but do not misunderstand. You do not have to start a podcast. You don't have to start a video show in order to matter. I was reading the other day some really depressing numbers, especially of older men and the suicide rates of older men. And maybe this is more uniquely a male thing than female. I don't know. But as men, I know our identity can be so wrapped up and so tied up in perhaps a work title or a position that we held for a lot of years. And now we're retired, and it's as though, well, we're put out to pasture. You know, our time now, our mattering is diminished. I'm going to make a statement that I've said for a long, long time, for too many years now, and I keep saying it. I keep re-upping it every year. I know it's coming to where I won't be able to say this, but for now I can. I've never been better. I've never been this old. I've never been this experienced. I've never had this level of wisdom and know-how, and I've never had this level of relationships and interactions and scope and scale of relationships with other people, ever. So I feel like I'm peaking, and I'm working to try to peak during these Encore years, and I want to encourage you to do the same thing. The value that you bring is largely going to be determined by the value that you're determined to bring. And I'll end this part of it on a note about gratitude, about being thankful, and about selfishness and not being selfish. The path forward is for us to put a focus on other people. As I have watched old people in my life grow older, and as I've assessed the ones that I most wanted to spend the time with versus the ones that I really didn't want to be around at all, the ones I didn't want to be around were judgmental, they could be hateful, and all they cared about was themselves. Well, I hadn't heard from you in forever. It's been a while. It's about time you called me. Versus the person that didn't approach life that way. They approached it with an interest in me. They approached it with an interest in other people. I want to be that kind of an old person. Make up your own mind how you want to roll, but mattering, contributing, serving, having a focus on others. It's a big deal, so don't overlook that second component in this Encore chapter that you're writing for your life. Third, mind, body, and spirit. Physical health is certainly important. It could be said that, you know, we're going to pay for our sins of the past, of our youth. And while that's true, it's never too late to start taking better care of yourself. Yeah, that includes enough sleep. That includes the way we eat. That includes staying active, moving around. As I think about the physical health this year, in 2024, I've had 3 surgeries, all of them orthopedic, by the way. I like orthopedic surgeons. Have I told you this? I have a thing for orthopedic surgeons. I always have. I have had what in hockey world they say upper body injuries. I've had elbow surgeries and shoulder surgery and neck surgery, but I've had nothing lower body until this year. So over the course of a couple of moves, evidently I did some wear and tear on the meniscus, that pad in your knee, and I tore the meniscus in both knees. And the MRIs looked almost identical. And so I had both of those repaired. The left one just a week or so ago, still bothering me. This takes weeks and weeks and weeks to get better. So my walking has really been greatly diminished. And then I had finger surgery. I had some arthritis in a knuckle that was resulting in a cyst that continued to bubble up right by my nail, and I could not get rid of this thing. Has a horrible name, by the way. It's called a mucus cyst. I'd never heard of such a thing. Well, it's not just like a bobo, which is what it kind of looked like. but it emanates from arthritis from the knuckle. So the doctor has to go down to the knuckle. Full-blown anesthesia for this, just for a knuckle on a finger. Yeah, had that done this year. So physical health is a big deal. I have an annual physical every year. I just completed one. Everything came back great and normal. Yeah, you need to lose some weight. I hear that every year. And I'm working on that too. Now for me, intermittent fasting, that works. If I will get my calories in between 6 a.m. and noon and then just fast until 6 a.m. the next day, that works for me like a champ. I can drop weight and really lean up in a pretty quick period of time if I'll do that. It's just discipline. I just have to discipline myself to do it. So I'm working on that. Mental health. Mind, that's the first M. I don't know. Some people have defined this as your ability to process information. It's maybe your ability to retain the information too and recall it. But mental health, I think, includes so much more. It's emotional, which is why I spent a little bit of time on that second issue of mattering. Emotional health, of dealing with our feelings and expressing those feelings based on the information that we've processed. All of that is important. Don't overlook that. If you go in for a Medicare annual checkup, part of what Medicare requires the health professional to ask is things like, how are you feeling? You know, are you hopeful? Are you lonely? I don't remember the specific questions, but they always ask you those kinds of questions because Medicare knows how important this is as we get older. Because loneliness and feeling insignificant can be big, big deals for older people. The village can provide, it does for me, it can provide a peace and a serenity and a tranquility. And I'm a city guy, but cities can't provide that. What the village can't provide, that cities could provide, 40-year-old me, I love the hustle. I just loved the grind. I loved the pace. But at 67, I don't love that anymore. This is where that ideal outcome thing, it can change. So 40-year-old me loved being in Dallas-Fort Worth. And just the vibrancy and just, you hear people talk about New York City in that same way. Now, that wouldn't apply to me. New York City, okay, it's a little too much. Kind of sensory overload for a guy like me. But just being in that grind, it was exhilarating at 40, but not so much at this age of life. And so my mental health, I can come back here. I'll be back here tonight when it's dark. You can see the reflection of the sky. It's completely blue right now. I can come out here and I can hear some bird chirping right now, and I'll be able to hear other kinds of stuff. And there's just a feeling that I can get here that I can't get in other places. And that is a big component for my mental health, for my emotional health. Spiritual, to each his own. All I will say, I'll hawk a little segment of a website that I have. If you want to find out more, if you're a faith-based person, and if you're not, that's okay. But let me encourage you, inthypaths.com, inthypaths.com. I started this back under COVID, and I just started recording some sermons that I delivered at my home congregation in Fort Worth, Texas. And I just decided to put some things online because you could just sense some people beginning to investigate, some people beginning to think about some things spiritually that maybe prior to COVID they had not. I'll just leave it at that. inthypaths.com. Money, mattering, mind, body, spirit, in writing your Encore chapter and doing that here inside Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. I'm going to cheerlead and tell you it can be achieved here. you can write a tremendous Encore chapter right here in Hot Springs Village. But, truth be told, you can write a great Encore chapter no matter where you are. But if you're interested in coming here, we're certainly interested in having you, and we're interested in giving you all the information that you could possibly need or want to try to make a wise decision so that you too can pursue your ideal outcome. For me and Rhonda, we've been able to do that, thank the Lord. We have been blessed, and we worked hard, and we planned hard, and we spent the better part of the last 2 to 3 years trying to make this dream become a reality. I know that there are many, many of you out there who are pursuing the same thing. And I just want to cheerlead you and tell you, just keep on chasing it, keep on pursuing it, and if not here, then somewhere it's got your name written on it, and you can write your ideal outcome, and you can write your own Encore chapter. I appreciate you clicking play. I hope now you'll click subscribe and hit the thumbs up button too while you're at it. Randy Cantrell for HSVInsideOut.com.
Thanks for watching Hot Springs Village Inside Out. You'll find all our episodes at HotSpringsVillageInsideOut.com or on YouTube.